George Bush has said that his object is regime change in Iraq. We might be able to avoid war, but can Bush without regime change?
Well, George Bush has gone along with the resolution 1441 as well. And it was absolutely clear we both said last November, if the Iraqis obey this resolution, and as I say, it's not a mystery what they have to do. All they have to do is agree to do what the inspectors say. If they did that, we wouldn't even be sitting here having this discussion. Now, you know, the choice in the end is for them. And the reason why I wanted to go through the United Nations is to give them a last chance, is to say, okay, you know, we've had this long history of this thing. There is still an issue here. We've got to confront this issue, but let's confront it peacefully so that the UN inspectors do their work. Now, what's actually happening at the moment, I mean, you know, you just realise there's massive intimidation going on of their experts and their witnesses to this programme. They're effectively being told they will be killed if they give proper evidence. They're not being allowed to come and be interviewed by the inspectors, except with a colleague alongside them that is obviously, you know, there for the purposes of intimidation. You know, it could be done so easily if he wanted to do it. And therefore, when people say, you know, you're hell-bent on this war, I have tried to avoid being in this position. And I honestly thought there was some prospect last November when we passed the UN resolution that he would realise we were serious about this, and if he didn't cooperate, he was going to be in trouble.
Rubina,
that is of importance then in asking how do you deal with someone. Okay, let's accept he's a monster.
She asked you about deaths of innocent people. I mean, as a Christian, how do you feel about innocent people dying, as they always die in war?
That is why you avoid war if you possibly can. And that is why we went through the United Nations. Now, there were innocent people, I'm afraid, as well as guilty, that died in Kosovo and in Afghanistan. But in the end, I felt on both occasions we had no option but to do this. And I remember at the time of Kosovo, I remember saying, no, let the peace negotiations go on several more weeks in order to try and get them sorted so that we didn't have to take on Milosevic. But when you say that Saddam is a monster, that is of relevance, I'm afraid, to how you deal with this situation. Because a monster is not somebody you want to allow to develop chemical, biological and nuclear weapons.
The question is what freedom he has under the current inspection regime, but we've discussed that already. I want to explore a little further about your personal feelings about this war. Does the fact that George Bush and you are both Christians make it easier for you to view these conflicts in terms of good and evil?
I don't think so, no. I think that whether you're a Christian or not a Christian, you can try and perceive what is good and what is evil.
You don't pray together, for example?
No, we don't pray together, Jeremy, no.
Why do you smile?
Because, why do you ask me the question?
Because I'm trying to find out how you feel about it.
Yeah,
I mean...
okay, yeah. Possibly.
Right, anyone else like...
I don't share any confidence that the people are behind you at the moment. Everybody that I've spoken to within my circle oppose what's happening at the moment.
Supposing there were a second resolution, though, would that make a difference?
Yes.
Well,
Prime Minister, but you said in your view it may be necessary to go to war without a second resolution.
well, I said that in one set of circumstances.
If that, yes,
yeah, which I don't
an
believe.
unreasonable veto, as
Yeah.
you put it. But if that happened, would you be prepared to go to war, despite the fact that apparently the majority of people in this country would not be with you?
Well, you can only go, obviously, with the support of Parliament, but I think that if you do get to a situation where the inspectors say, look, we can't do, you know, Saddam's not cooperating with us, we can't do this through inspections, and there wasn't just the United States and Britain, but other countries too were supporting us in that view. So you had a majority of countries in the UN Security Council. I think that would make a difference to people. And I also think that as more emerges about the nature of this regime as well, I think people, at least I hope they can, realise why it is not safe to allow a regime such as this the freedom to develop these weapons.